right. Thank you so much for downloading today's episode of the Red Pill Investor. My name is Carl Krenzel, your host here today on this very special episode of the Red Pill Investor. Thank you for being a part of it. Especially thank you for being a part of our community. I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to go ahead and listen to anything that I would even have to say. I got to tell you how much it humbles me to even think that you would take a time out of your day to listen to anything I would. So thank you so much for taking that time. And today what I want to share with you in episode number 440 is a very personal message. This is why I wanted to talk with you personally about it today. Is what I believe entitled The Biggest Problem the Worst Investors Have. This problem is so important to me. I think this is something I feel so fundamentally strong about that I wanted to speak with you personally about it today on a Saturday. I wanted to give this message to you. And that's why I'm really just giving it to you under my real name. It's because I want you to really understand how important it is to me that you get this. It's that important. And I want to deliver it on a Saturday because I know that only the best investors, the best of my fans will listen on a Saturday. And I really appreciate you. So I want to give you this special message, and I call it the biggest problem the worst investors have. So what is that biggest problem that investors have in their business? That's generally the question we face, right? Many times we tend to think that it's lead generation. In reality, that's probably the easiest one to solve. To the top producer, or the top producing investor realtor, let's say, somebody who's at the top of their game, somebody who's really producing a lot of business, who's making mass transactions, somebody like that. Lead generations, that's not a problem to them. That's pretty easy. To somebody who's at the bottom, however, that's a big problem. What is this crazy dichotomy? How come is it that the best investors in the United States have no problems with lead generation, and the worst ones, the ones who are the newest, have the hardest time? Why? Is it money? If that was the case, well, Rodrigo didn't really have any. Now look what he's doing. Is it their background? When you think of background, I think of Steven. He was a pharmacist. Is it their personality? Well, I don't know. Kurt Stinson certainly has a very powerful one. What I believe is what makes the significant difference amongst those who really excel in real estate investing and those who just kind of get by. What is that significant difference? I believe it's the knowledge of knowing how to prospect. See, prospecting goes far beyond normal lead generation. Prospecting includes qualifying, lead follow-up, presentations. What good does it do you to attract the wrong kind of customer in the wrong part of the sales cycle? See, this is where these traditional methods of wholesaling lead generation fail you. They just fail you. You're just at a point where you can't really do much. If I was going to write something down, I'd write this down. I'd write down, they attract the right customer at the wrong time. See, here's the problem that you face as I see it. You need a motivated seller lead to make money. That's what you need. And you think that you need money to get them. And then once you get them, you don't always know what to say or you kind of freeze a little bit, or maybe you say the wrong things, and then you lose. And when you lose, then you pay more money to get the chance to spin the wheel to do it all over again. See, there's really three things I think you need to know to help you get out of this real estate rat race where you're always trying to decide if you should spend $20,000 a month to get 4 leads or 4 deals, or what you should do. So if you've got a pen and you got a piece of paper, I'll share with you what you need to know and what you need to do to fix it. Point number 1. The problem with traditional passive marketing. The problem with traditional passive marketing. Now first, I want you to understand that I am no fool. I understand that it works. However, there are problems. The days of interruptive marketing are quickly becoming past. Permissive marketing is now more what is needed. And the problem with traditional passive marketing is, first, it's expensive. In order for you to do any significant business at all, you've got to spend a lot regularly. If you're not prepared to do it long term, if you're not prepared to spend the time or the money, probably not a good idea to get started in the first place. Second problem, it's unpredictable. You can't specifically target who you want, nor the price range, without any significant cost or exclusion. Of course, you can do it on your direct mail. You can say, well, I want this kind of this, and I want this kind of that, and I want to go to just code violations, this. But ultimately, you can't focus it down to the person, which is what is important, unless you're going to exclude a lot of other people. It's unreliable. As the customer that you're attracting is generic in nature, guess what? You're perceived as a commodity. They're generic in nature. When you're mailing to them, you don't know them from Adam. You don't know anything about their situation other than a statistic, perhaps. And as such, they look at you the same way. You're a commodity. Next problem is it's subject to constant change. Algorithms in Google for your keyword campaigns, or neighbors moving around in your geographic farm area, things are always in a flux. You cannot always rely on reliable results. It's subject to constant competition. Constant competition. If you think you're alone, you're a fool. Everyone else is reading the same online courses you are. They're still listening to the same blogs. They're sending the same letters, putting out the same 800 numbers in the same exclusive territories. The next thing is it places you at a disadvantageous sales position. Okay, don't be mistaken. You're a commodity. You are not an invited guest. Okay, get that thought out of your head. All right, this is not about you being a trusted advisor. Okay, you're just a maybe at this point. You're a gleam in the sales process's eye. Okay, that's all you are at that point. Point number 2. Here's why you lose. Here's why you lose. When it counts, at the moment of impact with that seller, when the seller asks you, well, what do you think you can do? Well, guess what? You freeze. It's the hesitation that gets you killed every single time. You don't have the confidence, or you got to get an exit strategy or this or that, right? Oh, you know what to do. Of course you do. But you don't know how to say it, or how to convey it, or how to make it happen. And that is what stops you. This is why you spend so much money on endless mailers, on endless bandit signs, on Google AdWords, and more. This is why you do it. I like to call it false hope in advertising, right? Instead of saying false advertising, it's more like false hope in advertising. Sure. Look, mass mailing works. Of course it does. Sure, Google AdWords, that works. But that's not your problem. Your problem is worse than lead generation itself. It's actually converting it into something useful. What good does it do you if you can generate leads that you can't convert? Eventually you just get frustrated and you quit. Not because you aren't any good at real estate. No, it's because you never really gave it a chance. You never learned how to sell. Look, without sales skills, chances are greater than 80% you will fail in the next year and a half. That's just being honest. That's just being real. That's the truth. 18 months from now. Let that sink in. Your dreams of freedom, 18 months from now, sunk. You're back at your job. 18 months from now, 80%. An 80% chance that's what you face. If that doesn't cause you to think, I don't know what will. Point number 3. The Prospecting Academy. The Prospecting Academy. I wanted to address you personally today. Personally about this because I know where you are. I've been there. And I'm pretty sure I know where you want to go. Now, I've coached a lot of you. And I've been in this coaching game teaching agents since probably 2010, I would imagine, is my first one. I know what you're wanting out of your life, mostly. If you're listening to this podcast, I kind of got a good feel for who you are. You want to create a life based on your design and not by others. That's really what you want. And in my real estate life, prior to coaching, I was selling 75 homes a year using only one administrative assistant. And I was able to do this by having a very special skill. My skill? I am undoubtedly the best prospecting investing agent. By learning how to become a powerful prospector, I learned how to do a lot of things very well in my business. Generate leads, pre-qualify them, follow up with them, save time, make money. By learning how to become a powerful prospector, you will be able to generate leads on demand for your business. What would it look like for you if you had the skills like Kurt Stinson doing 200 deals a year? What would that look like for you? Or what would it look like if you were like Rodrigo? You're just a brand new wholesaler out there having explosive growth. The reality is, if you want professional results, you gotta train like a pro. And if you want to know what the tips and the techniques that really the most powerful real estate investors use, well, then I'm having a workshop that begins Tuesday, June the 30th at 2 p.m. and it's going to last 8 weeks. And here's what we're going to cover in that workshop. We're going to first start working on developing a powerful lead generation mindset. We're going to talk about HVT prospecting, which is high value targeting. We're going to talk about some powerful appointment setting techniques to help you get in the door honestly. We're going to give you some unstoppable objection handlers. Some stuff that's going to help you know what to say in any sales example, in any sales environment, in any sales time. You will be able to compete with anyone on any level at any time. I'll give you some powerful appointment pre-qualification techniques. Some tips that are going to help you make sure you don't waste a bunch of time. You can't do 75 deals a year with one assistant if you're going to go out on a whole bunch of worthless appointments. I'm going to show you value determination so you can quickly determine who is worth your time. And then I'm going to give you some powerful offer making made simple techniques. Some techniques that are going to help you make offers quickly and safely. Not to mention a whole bunch more. Now, to do all this, I'm going to have a weekly 1-hour group training with you. And in that particular hour, we're going to go in depth into the words to say, the mindset that's really required for you, and the actual techniques that the best of the best are using every single day to generate business for themselves. And after that 1-hour training, I'm going to give you the homework and some powerful accountabilities to ensure that you do it. I guarantee you that you're going to do your homework. Promise you. And when you do, you're going to win. Each week, we're going to have a 1-hour final Q&A call for 1 hour where you can ask me any question or problem that you face that week. So just to give you an overview, in the beginning of the week, we'll have the training call. Towards the end of the week, we'll have a Q&A call where we'll follow up and see how you went. At the end of each week, you're going to receive a recording of both the training as well as the Q&A calls. At the end of the 8 weeks, you're going to have 16 hours of education specifically regarding the topic of prospecting. But of course, that wouldn't be enough. I have to add something else. You're going to need to get lifetime access to the Prospecting Academy, where professional investors and realtors and wholesalers stand by to answer every single question you have. Now, let me tell you, this course is going to be attended by all of my executive one-on-ones. They get free access to this. They're going to love it. They're going to be there. Imagine being there with them, being able to just ask questions and interact. Goodness, boy, I promise you, this is going to be something you're going to love. Again, this course begins, before I forget, June 30th at 2 p.m. Tucson time. It's going to last for 8 weeks, and I'm going to reopen it again in September. Now, if you want to get a jump on your competition, okay, I invite you to join me at that Prospecting Academy. I promise you, I'm going to do everything in my power to teach you how to become a powerful prospector. Teach you everything I can to help you win. You have 100% money-back, risk-free guarantee if you attend every class and every Q&A. And if you aren't convinced, I'll give you your money back with no questions asked. You keep all the training materials, all the homework, everything for free with my compliments. But I believe that if for 2 hours a week, you got 1 hour of education, 1 hour of Q&A with me and all the executive one-on-ones for 8 weeks, and listen to all the recordings for 2 months, heaven only knows what you could accomplish. Now, the cost for these, of course, lifetime of skills in prospecting and the library of experience, well, if you're a current executive one-on-one customer in good standing, it's, of course, to you, it is free of charge. Thank you for being an executive one-on-one and believing me in all this time. And if on the other hand, you're not an executive one-on-one yet, well, then the tuition for this 8-week workshop is only $3,000. So if you'd like to attend the Prospecting Academy beginning June 29th, then may I suggest you make the investment in your business and join me June 30th at 2 p.m. for your first class. Have a powerful sales day. Bye-bye.